Good morning, Pretoria! What's up, fellas? How's everybody doing? Uh, it's your boy, Agra, with your other boy, Weirbeard, and a secret clown in the back. We keep Ron in the back, but Rondon's here with us and helping to go bring this in. I told everybody what I was going to do. I put that in the chat. But hey, look, guys, it's great to see everybody today. I'm excited. I'm as bullish in this market as I have ever been. It is a lot easier to be bullish before it goes to all-time highs because you have so much room to run. So I'm really excited for the crypto markets, and I think that's going to spell wonderful things for our game, for the flywheel, for land, for tower defense, for all these things, everything we're working on. I'm actually really pumped. So. I know some people are doom and gloomers, and we're going to 10K, and the universe is going to explode. I just want you all to know that the whales of the world are not buying Bitcoin at 30,000 just to sell it back to you at 12. That's not how these markets work. They're going to buy it cheap from the plebs and then sell it expensively to the plebs so that they can fleece you multiple times. So that's not financial advice. It's just the way that I look at these things, and I do actually think that there's value in you guys knowing how I think about it, because I make some calls around here, and it's okay for you to hear my thought process. All right, so that's sort of a weird intro. This thing is the Splinterlands town square. The town square is different than the town hall, and that the town square is really about what you guys care about. It's about we'll do a little bit of like Q&A, but that's really not the point of this. The point is not like me and Weirbeard telling you guys stuff. The point of this is that we're really here just trying to facilitate a conversation amongst the Splinterlands whales and players and traders and collectors and hodlers and the folks that are part of this ecosystem. We want you to have a space. So maybe it's worth like a real quick, just what are we working on these days? Hopefully this is not more than like 5 minutes, but I don't know, Weirbeard, you want to share anything about what we're doing with the people?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot. we're doing plenty of stuff. Of course, the biggest thing in the elephant
Universe.
in the room, yeah, essentially land 1.5. Right before we came on, we were discussing what we were able to discuss. Like what's what will have the ninjas drop out of the ceiling and kill you if you start talking about or not. And it feels like we settled on that land 1.5 is real. You have touched it. You have seen it. You have seen it operating. That's correct. I just want a sign of life from you. Yes.
Yeah. So the very thing that we discussed was the movie Gladiator, where Russell Crowe is like in this dreamland. There's always these like every man has two fantasies, and it's like his wife and 10 kids on a farm. And then it's also like, he's putting on a headset, taking his gun and be like, I'll hold them off. Mm-hmm. So those are the two fantasies of like the trad world. So this is referencing the first one where Russell Crowe is out there. He's in like a fantasy land, and he's like touching the wheat with his hands and dreaming about the glorious death so he can go meet his wife. That's where we're at. Not that I've died, but that I have like touched said metaphorical digital wheat. That the damn thing is we're in testing, right? We're like, now that doesn't mean that everything works as intended. That's why we're testing. And the challenge, of course, with testing is that if you find a bug, or you might find something's broken, but bug hunting can be a very intensive process. So on the one hand, it looks very much like we're at the finish line, but that finish line goalpost can be moved back so far if you have a bug and nobody can identify where the hell it came from. So, but I have a ton of faith and confidence in this team. We're moving into to testing. We have like multiple swarms of people coming in to go test this stuff, and to actually like utilize it through a website. I mean, that sounds legit, right? Like that is the, can I go to splinterlands.com and poke around? Well, not on the live production server, but I can on some of these, these QA environments. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and so we have that. We also have the bot ban that's going into the modern format starting tomorrow, July 25th, which is also pretty entertaining. I think a lot of people have been waiting for that for quite some time. And again, we want to overstate that this is the first implementation of it, that we're planning on having lots of follow-up, not only actions but conversations about what else it will entail and how far we go with what we're doing. So hopefully people will be able to see an increase in rewards in the modern league starting tomorrow. We also have tower defense, which is
Yeah, the people were asking about that earlier, right before the show started. They were saying tower defense, tower defense.
tower defense. The way that I would classify it is that it is also live on production servers and in the final polish stage. We need to make sure that we are getting our stuff and our ducks in a row on it, and that we will hopefully be able to be pushing it to um, either live production or the Mav server shortly. Like, I don't want to give an exact time frame, but within 3 weeks, at like gun to your head, that's the
Oh,
latest.
we could just say August.
Yeah,
It'll
August.
go sometime in August.
Yeah.
It can we say anything about land in the month of August, or is that too soon?
You're putting me on the spot. What I will say is that if I was an odds maker
Okay, okay.
in a fantasy hypothetical land where I am held accountable for nothing and I get to say whatever I want and nobody else
That's my job. That's me. That's what I get to do.
is that August would look like very good for land, especially because, like I said, it's real, it's there, it's no longer like, hey, we're still ironing out how to code this thing. The creative work has been delivered on it. We have the actual like back end processes running, and the one thing that I will say is that it's disappointing that it's come down to me sounding like Aggie on this, but I do. That is where we're at, essentially.
So I got a question. So we have, and Ron, we're getting something that says one of us is muted on YouTube, maybe. So I don't know if you can check that out. But so I know that we have land is going to be delivered in at least two parts, right? The first part is going to be the big chunk of 1.5 that we're delivering the core features, and then sort of the ancillary nice to haves, the improvements, potentially done in a couple different stages. But we have the one big one. For the one big one that's coming up, is there still stuff left to code? Is it all coded and now it's just checking, or do you think that there's still things that we have yet to put together?
I mean, for the first iteration of what we're getting out, yes, it's been coded. We are now almost in code freeze, which is like, hey, don't put anything else in it because you may break something else again. But just don't mess with it. Just don't touch it. But there is again, like you said, we're planning on doing a not immediate, but a very, very soon after follow up with additional features, expansions. Because once a product like this is out in the wild, you can imagine how people are going to use it, but once you put it out into the monkey zoo that is Splinterlands, and we have all these people banging on it and like trying to break it and everything like that, you learn, oh well, this needs to be like this, we need to fix this. We also have other features that we're planning on implementing that will go for the follow-up to clear the rest of the specifications that went in that land 1.5 white paper. Because again, the main things that we're focusing on for the soon release is going to be the ability to stake monsters on your land, produce resources, and transport those things amongst different regions. Like, that's your main focus. But that's again the core beating heart of what land is going to be, is getting those cards off of the market, off of just existing out there in the wild, and you put them to work on your land, and that's like the beginnings of everything that we really need.
Okay, so what do I need for the part of land that's already coded up and going into production? What are what are the things that I need? Like what goes on land? What can I stake? What can I not? Like, do I need a summoner or monsters? Do I need like the typical card NFTs?
I mean, you definitely need monsters. You need units, as the creative department
Units.
would yell at me.
Right. That's what that was a word that was escaping me. Units. I need my summoners and monsters. What about DEC? Do we get DEC staking for this portion?
Yes. So there's no DEC market. So you're not going to be able to rent and buy, sell DEC and stuff like that. But you will need that DEC not only for that, but also to be able to clear your lands. You need to be able to get grain to feed your workers, which would require you to also have all the resources that then have to be to power your land. Because if you have the power cores that are going in there, you have God now.
Rooney. Did
Yeah,
Rooney make it in?
No, Rooney is in the second implementation of what we're doing here.
Okay. So it's either power core on day one, and I could have sworn that I saw Rooney, but Rooney's going to make it into the V2.
Correct. Yes.
And how far do you think that is?
I mean, we're targeting like a month and a half after launch to be able to have that V2 of some previously spoken of by other team members, facets going into land, as well as like titles, as well as the DEC market, hopefully. And again, general cleanup of like the way that people are using and interacting with the land stuff that we do put out.
So titles are not immediately usable in the V1?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So I stake land, I stake the cards. Can I get research? Can I get grain? And can I mine SPS?
I mean, you definitely need grain because that's the way that you feed your workers. So you're going to need to be able to, again, clear your land. You need to be able to feed them, which requires the grain that you either have to harvest or buy from other places. If you have those castles and keeps, you'll be able to set your taxes. And yeah, like I feel I'm definitely not remembering all of it because it gets very complicated and very like bulky very quickly. But here I can I'll pull up our work boards in the back to be able to see exactly.
That's dirty.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. And then and that's like the basics, right? I got to be able to claim. Yeah. I need my can I use time crystals to start? Is that a thing?
Yes.
So time crystals, I can like clear my land and get my work sites up and running with the time crystals right away. Okay. Let's see. What else? Like that's the majority of this, right? Am I missing a part that we should talk about?
Not really, because again, we're here to get people to give us questions and interact with us. So we don't want to just be up here talking about land again for 12 hours unless people want to go after it. But yeah, I mean the big thing here is that we're excited to get this out sooner rather than later, and people can make the same when land joke, but when I shove it in your face, then you'll know that it's here.
All right, and then for tower defense, we're doing there was one other crap. What were the three? There were three things for tower defense. Rewards review, and I can't recall them off the top of my head. But you know that guy seems like it's right there too.
Yeah, I mean what the main thing that we're waiting on for that one is some refinement of the early stages that we're needing to do. It's complicated because it's a pass off from a third party dev. But then also on us, we will have this week going out a proposal to end the rewards for holding packs and transition it to make it so
gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm been meaning to go look back at that and be like, do I even need to run a proposal for that? Because I think we said something about it in there, but I just haven't had a second to go look back at what we actually wrote. But it doesn't hurt, right? Like, I don't think the community is going to be like, no, we have to not play the game. We just have to hold the packs, I don't think that's what the community is going to vote for. So when you
In
put that
the
proposal
original
to switch,
proposal, we just said, we are going to pass another one come closer to
oh,
release
all right,
date. So, I mean, yeah.
yeah. So we'll do that. Yeah. Well, right. It's not, Louis, it's not about like team funds or not. It's like, how are we awarding them? And right now we're awarding them for holding packs, but I guess we have to go do another proposal to switch that.
Mhm.
Okay. So, all right. I guess those are some of the, yeah, get the baby out. Get the baby out. We got a baby. It's like
It's here.
crowning.
It's here.
Yeah, it's time to get the baby out. That's a great way to phrase that.
What did you
Uh,
do when your child was born? Were you like the stereotypical pacing, smoking a cigar in the waiting room father,
uh,
or
I have been there for four of them, and I had different things. One was holding a leg. One was most of the time I'm like standing right there next to my partner. Um, I don't know, in various forms of that, of like help to breathe, let me hold the thing, hold the leg, you know, I don't know, all kinds of different ways from this. Um, but yeah, now we got to get the baby out. I love that phrase for this. You got to get the baby out. You are now you're like an OBGYN now. You are no longer like a product owner. You're an OBGYN.
I just breathe, just push and breathe, and
Yeah.
you're almost there, man.
Whoosh! That's awesome. That's hilarious. Okay, well, that's our little update for the things that are coming, and our goal is going to be to get as much of this stuff out and live as quickly as we can, that as safely as I can, to make sure that it's functioning, to put out additional updates as we go, and it's going to be awesome. So we're going to get the baby out, and then we're going to genetically enhance the baby.
Oh,
I
hell
think
yeah.
that's yeah. It's gonna have some. It's gonna be like Matrix kind of thing where you're like, I know kung fu. Okay, so with that, we have taken a third of this time for kind of quick updates and a little bit of chatter. I guess now, if you guys want to talk, if you want to come on, if you want to go share stuff, raise your hand, and Uncle Clown can bring you on air, and you guys can speak. So, and if you want to put in questions, you're welcome to go type out a question. It's handy if you put like a Q and then a colon, or if you put in something that makes it look like a real question. And otherwise, just hit in the main stage. Just raise your hand. Ron, is anybody raising their hand? Did we lose a clown?
No, he said there's no hands raised.
Did you hear him?
Yes.
Oh, I guess I muted him in the other spot. Let me unmute him here. Ron, are you there? Okay, I can hear him now.
Here, I can answer one that's somebody typed out from Fame
Sure.
Null Frame. To what extent does the Splinterlands team have communication with bot services about the upcoming change? We actually gave a heads up to the bot services 2 weeks ago, I think, a week or two ago. All of the major ones that we have identified and talked to have been reached out to. They are aware of the upcoming changes and the way that it will impact them. Again, as always, we say that we don't hate bots. We just want to make sure that humans have a place to be able to compete. So we are not attempting to nuke bots from the face of the earth. We try to work with them as partners, hand in hand, as much as we can to make sure that everybody comes out happy at the end of the day.
All right. So Daru is asking a few clarifications about the council. Do you want to? This is a little bit of your baby. Do you want to kind of answer these?
Yes. Is it active? No, it's not. And why? Because they had a set date and we should have been able to do another one. However, we do not have a voting mechanism. The biggest meltdown that the community had last time, and I don't use meltdown like pejoratively, but it was definitely lots of people who were thinking that all of a sudden these people are elected and running Splinterlands as kings. that we don't have a way to vote for people that was not a source of drama. So until we're able to develop and put that back in, it just has been sunset. We aren't doing it. I think I got ahead of my skis because we didn't have the dev power to be able to put it in and have it be a blockchain transaction of the vote, which is what many people asked for. What has it done so far? If possible, some concrete examples. Again, a lot of the examples that I would be able to give is essentially setting up how we would want the voting to be done in the future. They did a lot of collections and understanding of what made people so upset about the way that we elected them the first time. Is there a plan to do a second election for the council? If yes, when? Yeah, totally. When we develop a voting mechanism that people do not get mad at me about.
Which is actually, so that's happening in the validator system.
Mhm.
So the very first validator goes live with the GLS ecosystem, and it won't have witness voting. It'll just have kind of like parallel computing and validating all the transactions. The next thing that'll go live is that witness voting system, and that's going to be your council. The council position is basically who are the top witnesses. So it's going to ultimately work like Hive. But instead of counting what's your high power, it's going to count what is your staked SPS.
And then is there a charter of what should be its priorities now that we did the first trial run? People are not clear what they were voting for in the first election. Yes, all the council is supposed to do is be a medium in between the team and the community. A lot of times people get very, very upset because they go, well, I said things in the community. And it's like, well, it's hard to surface every person's displacements and issues and things that they don't like. So it's supposed to be a set place that community members were able to reach out to. And also it sort of gave active community members a way to see what is being done by the team and how things are being tackled, so that it wasn't just, oh, well, I posted this huge long diatribe in Discord one time and the team hasn't implemented everything that we want to do. I guess the council itself is supposed to be a little self-determining. They don't have power. They don't have the ability to come in and tell the team, hey, stupid, this is what you guys are doing now. But it is supposed to be a like magnification of what the community is wanting. So therefore
But
each council I think is going to be a little bit different, right? Like, because at some points people are going to be screaming, we really, really, really need a council to go in and tell the team how much we don't like this thing. Or other times they may be, hey, we want you guys to go in and pitch this cool idea that we're super positive and excited about. Like it shifts and isn't just like, here's the job set duties of these people and this is what they do at this time.
well, it's kind of like, what is the job of a Hive witness,
Mhm.
right? Like a witness, their only job is to run the server, and that's the only like actual requirement. But then who you choose to elect is going to be, is somebody making useful tools? Is somebody making edits to the software? Is somebody helping to bring new people into the ecosystem? What are the people doing that are they being a really good liaison? And are you being the guy that's like communicating between the community and the team? All of that is really up to the people with SPS to vote folks in that they think benefit the community. And there's lots of ways to help this community. You guys just have to decide which is the most important way to do that. All right, let's go on to the next set. Lewis is asking, how's the Hero on Tower Defense handling? And then what about the Alpha Packs?
Alpha Packs we're still figuring out behind the scenes. They won't be there.
At game launch.
The change won't be there for alpha and beta, but we are still attempting to get that done soon. Again, there's financial implications of how we do it, as far as like with Double Coconut and other people as well. So yeah, I mean, we don't have an update on that yet, but that is something that's priority that we're hoping to get soon after launch.
What about Heroes?
Heroes, Heroes are, I'd have to follow back up and exactly know what I'd have to answer on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay.
We do have 3 people on deck.
There's not that many questions. There's like 3 questions. Let's go through the questions real quick, and then we'll go to the people on deck. The scene is virtually everything is ready in tower defense. Could you kindly tell us how many towers we need to max out?
That'd be a marketing thing. When we announce the launch, you're going to be able to see all the numbers yourself. I can't give numbers ahead of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, let's go talk to Chatter about that and see if we can't get like a little graphic made up, and that way you can see how many you have to combine. It's not the same as Splinterland, so it's a good and valid question. Let's make that pretty and try to get that out soon. Question: will there be a Splinterfest this year? I don't know. It takes a long time to plan, so if it does, it's going to be like December. It might not be till next year, but let's go see how crazy markets go. If they go to 10,000, there's probably not going to be one. If they go to 100,000 very rapidly, that's entirely possible. What will be the process in bot reporting and disputing a bot allegation? What is the penalty for being caught using a bot in Modern?
So reporting a bot, it's the same as disputing. You can file a support ticket. We already have all the internal stuff set up for them to be able to do that. We have an escalation process internally. When it comes to the penalty for using a bot in Modern, it's the inability to submit battles for Modern in the future.
And firing squad, is that part of it too?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. We're bringing in a guerrilla squad to line you up outside of your home.
Yeah. All right. Just so people know, there's no firing squad. Okay. The quarterly promo, do we have an idea on price point, timeframes, and maybe changing it to half a year? What tokens would be needed rather than just having it drop to an insane price point? I don't think we're talking about quarterly promo just yet.
Nope.
Yeah. So we don't have any answers for that. To prevent bots from attack Modern until they figure out workarounds, do you agree that significant financial penalties such as loss of spellbook and wiping away current season rewards are needed for first infractions and get more severe after?
I mean, unfortunately, that's not something that we currently have in the scope at this time. We essentially just remove access from Modern, and that's where we're at. If that's something that the players would like to see, I think that would be closer to a proposal vote. Just because, again, it's dealing with something that we when it comes to working on these bot removals from Modern, and if it does go anywhere else in the game, we're sticking very, very closely to like what the proposal that gets passed says, right? So, because the moment that we start acting with latitude, people get mad and they go, well, that's not what I voted for. I thought you were going to do this instead. And it makes it so that everything that we do when it comes to the bots, punishment, removal, all that kind of stuff, has to be very, very explicitly outlined in proposals.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like if I just would come out and do it, I will be literally Hitler or Stalin. But if it's something the community wants and I'm enforcing it, I'll do that all day long. But that's not something that I'm going to randomly impose. I'm not going to take physical assets away from people or digital assets away from people without the community saying this is what we want. And if that's what you want, I'll go enforce it all day long. But I'm not going to just randomly make that the rule. Question: it appears that the total SBS circulation hasn't been updated in a few weeks. Any info on this? Yeah, I think it gets updated once a month. So that's a feature, not a bug. And this is going to be the last question before we go to the other ones, which is fine because it's the last question. Have you considered that people owning title in Rooney have paid to get an edge on land, and getting the land 1.5 without those features equals screwing them over? Are we screwing over those people? Is that how you read that?
I mean, we try not to, but it's a matter of delivering a product. I'm sure everything gets our pound of flesh one way or another when it comes to things that we aren't able to deliver. We're hoping to have it out sooner rather than later. As a follow-up, we are very, very excited for people that have purchased Rooney. We want to be able to give more utility and more use cases to Rooney. But unfortunately, it was not able to be done for that very first one. So
yeah,
apologies.
Hopefully that becomes one of the first updates that we make, and that within the maybe this will be only done in we'll wait 6 weeks and put something out, but hopefully you'll see some additional things come online fairly quickly, assuming that all the testing and initial rollout is not overwhelming us. We get right back to adding more features and putting in all the different parts of what's in the white paper. So we have to make some amounts of compromises as we go. And, as a person holding almost 60 Rooney, that's certainly not what I would want. But at the same time, we gotta get this thing out, and then we have to build on top of it. So we're gonna get it in there and try to get it in there quickly. All right, let's go to some questions. So whoever had their hand up first, let's bring them on and let's see if we can talk to them.
All right,
And can you give them
Young Eagle 95 is invited to speak, and he is here.
I
just want to remind everybody
actually, do you want?
that everybody who's coming, sorry, just go make sure that you either have headphones on or your speakers are down so we don't get an echo, and ensure your mic is working by checking your Discord voice and video settings.
Can you bring the other two on as well and just have them on mute until we're ready to talk to them?
Sure thing. Bringing you on,
That way
Nick
they
and
know.
12.
Say that again.
I brought on Mick and 12. Infidel.
Okay. Sweet. So we're you guys can talk in just a second here. All right, Young Eagle, you're live on air. How are things?
Good. How are you? Do you hear me well? I'm on my phone, unfortunately.
Hello.
Yeah, loud and clear. What's your question, sir?
Hello. I just wanted to ask about castles and keeps. A while ago, I remember an update coming out saying that there would be more info on taxes and just general use case for castles and keeps. So I'm not sure if you're able to answer this now, since it's still being updated currently. But did we get any more info on what castle and keep owners are able to expect coming forward, other than just tax income, like what our workers will be doing and such?
It's actually going to be included in the Land 2.0 white paper, so that's something that'll be covered for future releases. We can't, unfortunately, comment at this exact juncture.
Of course, I appreciate it. I just was curious. I didn't know if there was anything new updates, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on.
And hopefully that's coming out, and then within, again, like I'll put out August. I hope that at least internally, you're
Okay.
shaking your head.
All right, as long as you say as long as you put some caveat on it, so that I don't have people that are just like, Aggie said August. It's August 12th. Where is it?
Yeah. No, I'm hoping, but we'll see. Maybe I shouldn't say things like that, but that's what I do, and that's why everybody hates aggro. Okay, next up is 12, I think, right?
Mick.
Infidel.
Oh, Mick's next. And that Mick is
hello.
next. Hey, Meta, you there?
Guys, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. What's up?
Awesome. Yeah, first time caller, long time listener.
Nice. I've been so looking forward to hearing
that. just wanted to say, disappointing about Rooney not being in 1.5, but I mean, I'd much rather have Land out and Rooney coming along later on. It's not all negative, right? You gotta give some stuff up.
Yeah, and I will say quickly that, like, we are hoping to not have it be like months and months in between. It's more, we want to get something out the door and immediately have the other stuff that's being worked on right now behind the scenes just given a little bit of extra time to bake. So like we're pulling out the first course while the second one finishes.
Good to hear. I just wanted to ask you guys, do you think everybody is sort of prepared enough for Land? I mean, I'm not a whale by any stretch, but I've got 40 plots, and I don't even have half the cards that I actually need. I've got them all mapped out, and I've been buying cards for the past maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I'm just trying not to move the price of cards up too much, if that makes sense, because I'm going for specific ones, because all of my plots are sort of the same splinter, if you will. So I need to pick on very specific cards, but I've started to notice that the cheap card prices have disappeared now, and card prices are starting to move up slowly. I don't know if that's everyone's getting excited for Land, or whether or not we're going to have a big explosion of buying and stuff when Land actually does come out. Just wondered what your opinions were.
Well, the first thing that I'll say is I don't think anybody's ready, because I don't think people have started unstaking stuff yet. So, unstaking takes a bit, right? It's like 30 days, I believe, to get to like unstake your assets and whatnot. And I think that a lot of people are going to they haven't started doing that yet, and they're going to wait till the very, very, very last minute, and they might be caught flat-footed because they expect this to be farther out than it really is, and so their stuff will be still staked when land launches, and they have to wait. The other thing that I don't think people are truly prepared for is that we have done a lot of things over the past year to where people used to buy way more cards. And in the past 4 months, you've seen shifts towards needing more SPS, right? Like the SPS staking that we've done, and rewards and all these other things. I think that a lot of people are going to be caught flat-footed having purchased cards previously that they bought them for value and not for gameplay, because I don't think people are ready to juggle what happens when I have cards staked on land and I need these cards to battle and to actually play the game. And so I think that's the thing that most people are going to be hurting the most, as they go, well, this one's really good on land, but I also really like playing it in like gold or silver league. So yeah, so that would be my opinion.
I think there's about to be massive pain for DEC. Like, people are not hoarding huge amounts of DEC from what I'm seeing, and we need. Oh, am I live?
You're
You can hear
live.
me? Okay. You just stood still for a second, and I'm like, he's not even moving. Maybe I froze. No, I think you need, if all of land is out and people are putting cards, it's something like 7.5 billion. And my ballpark is that there's something like 2 billion DEC that's kind of like free out there. And you guys just aren't prepared. I know I'm not. Like, I'm going to have to burn a crap ton of SPS or move a bunch of other assets in to try to get my to try to get as much DEC as I need. So and it's a lot, but I plan on fighting you guys for having as much SPS as possible, because I think that stuff is going to be going through the roof. I just like how markets are positioned. I like how there's a flywheel. I like everything about what we're doing. I think this is really exciting stuff. So you guys do whatever is right for you and your family, but I look at this and I'm as giddy as I've ever been and as greedy as I've ever been. So I will fight you to the death for this SPS, sir. And that means I need cards, which I have a lot of, so I don't need too many more cards, but I am certainly short on DEC. So that's going to be the limiting reagent for a lot of people. And as it turns out, once we run out of DEC, once we're at PEG, and it's hard to get, the only way that people are going to be able to get it is by buying and burning SPS. So hopefully you have as much SPS as you want, and hopefully you already got your DEC, because those things are going to be awfully hard to come by. And as if this whole thing goes, your earnings will start going up. And if your earnings start going up, then you're going to need more cards, and those might start flying too. So I don't know. There's so many positive feedback loops. Maybe you guys hate land and you want nothing to do with this, and nobody's excited and nobody cares. And that, there's a non-zero chance of that. But that, if you guys could be like that for the first couple of weeks and then kick in later, that'd be amazing, because I'd get a great head start. But whatever, this stuff's amazing and awesome, and it's coming soon. Sweet. So, I'm a broken record. Get your Rooney, get your titles, get your DEC, get your units. You need all of it. Get your power core. You probably want some time crystals so you can start mining quickly. And make sure you have land, and high quality land. You're going to want some occupied land, probably some magic land, and the more legendary it is, the better. All right, now we go to 12. Let's go see what's up with 12. What's up, bro?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Welcome.
First wanted to say it's funny because you guys know that I do content on Splinterlands every day, but I'm actually sitting here nervous. Like, I talk to Ron all the time, Weird Brew all the time, but this is like a fun. I love that you guys are doing this, and I'm actually giddy a bit to be talking about the things that I love with the things that you love too. So let me get into it. It's actually related to what Aggie was just getting into. There's kind of the excitedness and the bullishness around the economy, because looking at just what land could do, the staking requirements, the eating up the DEC wall, and then getting to a place where Flywheel starts working. My questions around that, and it's not something I necessarily see you guys having an answer to. I'm trying to wrap my head around this, and I'm raising it in this context so that the community can start thinking of it too. And if there's feedback you guys have, awesome. But it seems to me one of the things with DEC, one of the problems that we've faced in our past so far has been the fact that the SPS airdrop and how we essentially created an incentive where holding more DEC, and then algorithmic inflation created more DEC, and there was a flooding of it, and the shelves got full of it. And during a bull market, that was fine because one, SPS airdrop points and people wanted it, and two, it was a bull market, and that's okay. You like people, like money is flying around, and I'm kind of wondering, and I don't know this, but I'm wondering if we might get to a place where I'm confident we're getting back to peg for DAC. In my opinion, that's a lock. And then I'm convinced that the flywheel is going to be powerful and effective. And then I look at things like not just all the things that you talked about a moment ago with land and etc., but I look at like liquidity pools, and this is Steve's stuff, but man, such a great content last week or two, talking about the DAI, DC, and the USD versus DC liquidity pools are running at 15%. And that's based on an SPS payout. And the SPS is paid up, like, I guess, measured. I'm a little new, so I could be wrong about this fact. Correct me if I'm wrong here. But if SPS goes to 5 cents, then that return doubles to 30%, etc. And my thinking is we could actually create a scenario where those liquidity pool offerings are super enticing to a broader cryptocurrency market. In the same moment, we're already seeing a bull market moment for funds, like land eating up DEC, SPS spiking just naturally because of the flywheel to get DEC to support the land we have, and then that starts driving those liquidity pool returns to a place where it's like super enticing for outside money. And then I'm wondering, I'm just thinking out loud, could we get to a place where SPS, like, imagine it's at $1. I know some people that's never going to happen. I think it could go higher, but just if we get into these places where a few SPS start creating a lot of DEC through the burn mechanic, and at first during a bull market, that's fine. Like I said earlier with the huge DEC pile we had during that last bull market, it was not a problem because there was such an appetite. So do you think I'm off base in being maybe possibly a little concerned that the flywheel mechanic might be so enticing through liquidity pool returns that we get to a place where we start stocking the shelves again with DEC, in a sense, stocking the ecosystem, because somebody comes in and spends $50,000 in SPS to mint new DEC to get into these liquidity pools that are paying 30% at 5-cent SPS. And I'm saying $1 SPS is possible. Like, those liquidity pool returns could be crazy. And those are stable coins in my mind, right? DEC in my mind truly will be a stable coin versus DAI, etc. And so could we get to a place? Do you see, am I being off base and imagining maybe this path could lead to a place of way too much DEC, which during our bull market might be totally fine. But then in the next bear market, are we going to have this new wall, this sell wall of like, and DC falling way below peg? Because I think these things are cyclical. I think this game's amazing. It's not going anywhere even after the next bull market. But I'm thinking the next hurdles in the next bear is where my head's at. And that's really my question. So again, I don't expect answers, just theories, and maybe to raise even people in the chat to think about that. Maybe I'm totally off base, but this is something I've been wrestling with the last week.
I actually think that's remarkably astute, and I've been talking to some of the business people about that and how we plan for that. And ultimately, our goal as a business is now to find as many use cases for DEC, many of which are going to be in the game. But at some point, I need that to cross over to the meat sack world so that you can buy DEC and get something that's valuable to you that isn't just electronic. So I don't want to We're still thinking about what that plan will be, but the Splinterlands hold something like 80 million SBS or more. So if it does happen to get to $1 or more, that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of money for us to be able to figure out what are some ways that we can either buy or influence businesses to accept DEC, so that there's a steady demand for it outside of the boom and bust cycles of crypto. And that is going into this bull cycle is to prep for the bear, so that the community isn't just immediately flooded with an astounding amount of DEC. It's fine if there's tons of DEC. We just need to make sure that there's something that you can have for that. But I think your brain's in the right spot, and that is something that I spend my time thinking about too.
Also, I
Awesome.
would say a great solution is cosmetics, battle passes, all kinds of stuff we've talked about in the past. Are great sinks to be able to spend that DEC and the stuff that people accumulate on.
Yeah, there's video game stuff and there's non-video game stuff. And
Yes.
and in this bull market, I hope to transition Splinterlands into not just a video game business, but into a real world business too. And it'll utilize DEC, and we'll see what that looks like. It kind of, if we top out at 32,000, that changes what I can do. If we top out at 320,000 for Bitcoin, that would change also what we could do. So we'll scale this with sort of like, how wild does the next market become? And hopefully people are being greedy and seeing green, and it's pretty exciting. All right. Do we have anybody else that's, I guess, if you have another question, go for it. But otherwise, let's move on to somebody else.
That's it, guys. Thanks so much. That was amazing. You guys are
Thank
awesome.
you.
Keep it up.
Awesome. Thanks. Do we have anybody else, Ron, that's looking to talk on stage?
We have about 10 minutes. We have one more person that wants to talk on stage, and we got a few questions in the chat.
All right. Let's have this be the last person that comes on stage, and then we'll go through chat.
All right. So this is Fasa Hinho. I hope I pronounced that right. Apologies if I did. So you are invited, so just accept. There you go.
Hey, Fossey, you're on mute by your own choice, not by us. So you got to unmute. And they don't seem to be there. So if they come back, they can speak.
They had to accept the invite, so they are here. So you just have to click the mute button on or the microphone button to unmute yourself.
In the meantime, I'm at 10:35 with Marshall Beba Omega. So if we're skipping Fossey because they can't speak, recently it was mentioned by Farbertrot and Land Channel that clearing of land is being combined with building the first building on the plot rather than a single process. Can you comment? Also, is there clarity if land surfing is decided on being part of land 1.5? And if yes, can we expect it together with the second iteration coming 1.5 months after 1.5 release?
Land surfing will not be included in the first release. It is tentative for the second release. That'll be the follow-up.
And then do you want to talk about the combining or not combining of land and the first building, clearing and the work site?
Well, I mean, if Farp said it, then like, this guy that made it, man, I'd say he has a pretty good grasp on it. So if he said that it's combined with building the first building on the plot rather than a single process, then yes. Hello, welcome.
Hey, we can hear you.
Hello, do you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So, guys, thank you for having me. I have a very simple question, which is, don't you think we are pricing out the new players and making the threshold to enter the Splinterlands for the new investors or new players very high?
So like new players are the lifeblood of this game. I have been outspoken, and I will continue to say that we need to spend so much more time, attention, and energy on new players, the new player experience, and not only about like tutorials and teaching them the game, but also making products that are accessible to people of all financial backgrounds, right? Like you cannot own a business that only sells Maybachs unless, I mean, you're a Maybach dealer. So I think that we are not intentionally pricing them out. I think that we currently do have a bit of a weak spot in providing products that would be available to new players at a very low cost. However, we're hoping to be able to remedy that, with making it so that there are ways for players to be able to get into the game, experience the fun of the game, and not be told, "Hey, you want to go play? Cool. And if you don't want to play in Bronze League, here's $1,000 you need to spend." Land itself is what I would not consider part of the core new player experience, right? People are not going to be jumping straight into land. They're most likely going to be coming in through the game of Splinterlands and then finding out about land. So I do think that we need to kind of draw a line of separation between, hey, is land, pricing out certain people because we want to make land accessible, but I don't think that it's necessarily a new player friendly concept to begin with. But yes, I do agree that we need to make sure that we are paying attention to those new players, and attracting them, not just through marketing, but making it so that people are able to easily get in and not be immediately met with a brick wall of hey, here's stuff you have to have in order to be able to enjoy the game.
Okay,
All right.
perfect.
Thanks, Fossey. All right.
Thank you, guys.
So I see Dizzy at 1036. Question idea: daily rewards login aside from Focus Chest. That's not going to be in the next iteration. That's something that we could consider. Let me see if there's more questions as I scroll down here. Lots of chit chat, but I don't see a lot of questions from the
Somebody said that this could have been an email and not a meeting, which makes me sad because I like doing these. So.
Yeah. Well, it's you can't always just answer people if they have questions. Question: can I use my plots if I've locked them? Yes, you can if you've locked your plots, at least if you lock them in game. And what land assets are staked right now? I don't know. Well, you need cards and you need DEC. The cards are currently staked, so you might need to delegate them to a different account or move them to a different account or unstake them. SPS is not, actually, I was thinking about this today, that you don't need SPS to be able to mine SPS in land. And maybe that's something that we'll put in a proposal for later to say, you have to have SPS if you want to mine it, but we'll see. That's not in there currently. Let's see, any other questions here? Question: does a Splinterlands team, this is 1043 Lewis 88, does Splinterlands team planning to have a minimum SPS rental price, for example 0.1 DEC per SPS? I don't know that that's part of this.
We have not considered that internally, I believe, yet.
Yeah, there's going to be some minimum price, because after that you can't split DEC enough to go pay people. So the minimum price is something like 0.006. So that means that there's some minimum above that. I don't know. When will we be able to buy time crystals? Are we going to be selling time crystals with the game? Is there any inflation of time crystals other than what came in the thing?
At some point, yes, but I don't believe in this first release we're selling time crystals.
Yeah, so we'll make them available, but that's more of a 2.0 thing, because 1.0, if you got the time crystals, great. If not, no. The production, more than just the mining, it's going to be the production of things that really need that, and the buildings that are coming. So that's future talk. Let's see. No, I'm still scrolling down here looking for questions. I'm at Boo Tops at 1050 and I don't see more. So Lewis 88, no, he already put that. That's funny that he asked me twice. I just have to read through them. You don't have to repeat questions, bro. But it's okay. When will the team be selling goats for DEC? We're counting on the players to open up the goat market. There's only 1 week in the Age of the Phoenix. Any word on the next promo or mini set? Mini set might have a shakeup. I'll have more information, I think, at the end of the week. That we might be throwing a little curveball in there, which would be fun. And then for the next promo hasn't been discussed. What are the potential earnings in tower defense? There's 2 million SPS per year for a couple of years. I forget what we voted on, but it's whatever we voted on with that rewards post. We're not changing the amount of rewards. We're just changing how they're earned. Will there be any other rewards besides SPS for Soul Keep after launch? There's like some NFTs, soulbound NFTs that are part of that, right? For like upgrading your castle's keeps and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's parts of that are in there, but hard to explain an entire system when we're basically out of time. Rocket at 10:54. No more questions, guys. Maybe you can type in no more questions. Does anyone here know how to get the DECB USD pool to work properly? I'm having issues. That's like I don't know. You can either ask support people that or go check in general chat, or maybe somebody's answering you. Question: with bot banning going from 500,000 to 60,000 daily players, do you plan to
Oh, looks like I cut out.
reinstall?
Oh,
there he is.
Did I get cut out?
Yes.
You did.
Oh, sorry. So we have 10:55. I'd ask, please tell them no more questions.
Did.
And then at 10:55, we have the bot banning going from 500,000 to 60,000 daily players. Do you plan to reinstate new player rewards?
At this moment, that was not part of what we were looking at for doing scope of removing the bots. That is something that we are considering for the future, but at the moment, we do not have any implementation dates.
Have the Splinterlands TV streamers do short videos covering the help page? The current help page looks like it was coded in 1995. Some videos covering gameplay and tutorials would help.
You want me to take
that's
that?
a suggestion. Thanks for the suggestion. No access. Here's a question. Any idea when a fix for the gold foil precedence during team selection bug is going to be implemented? Let's pause on that unless you have an immediate answer.
I'm sorry, which one?
We're at no access today at 10:57.
Oh, no, I don't have a date on that. I'm sorry.
With a bot banning, we already asked that new player rewards. Will game grow and take top 3 spot in DAP radar again?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm
we have
confident.
a crystal ball. We have a crystal ball. We know that for certain. But my take is that we have something extremely electric with what we're rolling out on as soon as we can, and it's awesome, and it's going to be a massive game changer for us, and meaning all of this community. After a monster uses rebirth or resurrect, can the respective icon be taken out of the card to know it has been used? That's a fine suggestion. Who is in the lineup for Town Hall next week? Maybe
TBD.
Ron can talk.
Yeah, we can't say. We can't say.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Time
State
crystals will be tradable, transferable. Time crystals will also be available to purchase at any time from the local castle by burning 100 DEC or Deck B per token. The name time crystals is the most, like most everything else, is subject to change. So yeah,
Nate jumped in. Nate jumped in and told us that they did get the UI submitted to engineering, so there is a good chance that buying time crystals will be in the 1.5 for its release.
All right, sweet. Question: will having an XBot token in your wallet be enough to trigger bot measures, or is it safe to keep my token and not use it?
It's safe to keep your token and not use it, but if you use it, you will be removed.
All right, last 2 questions. For the components missing from the SPS staking formula, is there a timeline for evaluating and adjusting the formula to penalize extractors more than the low owners of it? Consider ownership of gameplay assets and differentiate it between modern and wild. That all goes back to staking, and we're over time. I'm not sure that's a good question to answer now. Anything you want to throw in real quick about it?
I mean, Matt is hard at work. If you have any faith in Matt, it's the person you want to direct those questions to.
All right, and then Deuce Crypto. How is new player acquisition going? Any improvements with little crypto excitement recently? Any new player acquisition initiatives besides Nifty Arcade? New player acquisition, we're fixing all the economy problems, and that I think is one of the first major steps to new player acquisition. Any improvements with little crypto excitement recently? like an entire freaking game and an entire, like 2 games are getting released ideally in August. Like that's amazing. So, and if that doesn't help with player acquisition, I don't know what will, but, and Nate's popping in here, but, okay, that's what I wanted to, I see that there's some other questions. We'll try to get to this later. I don't know, anything else you want to put in there, Weirdbeard, for as we wrap this thing up?
I appreciate everybody being here. I understand that these aren't exactly like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people hanging out with us. But the people that are here that want to listen to us talk about this stuff, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah. So, so after the Ripple case came out, and if Ripple isn't a security, then basically nothing is securities. So I have less fears about all of these things and talking about them. To me, the flywheel that we have in this game is absolutely astounding, and I think it will be. I'm personally positioning myself as a trader, as a hodler, to go have as much SPS and assets and everything else as I can. Not just because I founded this game, but because I think this is one of the most extraordinary opportunities in all of crypto. So I'm doing that because I think this thing is amazing and it's going to go fly off the freaking handle. Now you guys can do whatever you want. I'm known as a hype man. I'm known as the chief FOMO officer. So you guys make your own decisions. Don't listen to me, but I'm if you want to go check out my accounts, you'll see that many of them own cards, own Rooney, own DEC, own SBS, contribute to liquidity pools and stake an absolute shit ton of tokens. And I'm not just doing that. Like I'm doing that, one, because I think this thing is fun as hell, but 2, because I also have promise of what an extraordinary set of community members we have, what these new features are, and how this entire game economy works. And it's freaking like exhilarating. And we're finally at the point where the burning mechanisms in place, the staking mechanisms in place for SPS, and now we're about to get the DEC mechanisms in place. And if that's not electric, I don't know what is. This shit is amazing and crazy. And for the guys that are on this ride, I'm really looking forward to August. Should be an amazing month. And I don't know. Thanks for sticking with us through these down years. Thanks for sticking with us as we've been building this thing. I know it's taken longer than we might have hoped for, but I'm stoked. I feel like I'm about to step foot in the land of milk and honey. And big shout out to Weirdbeard and big shout out to the enhancement team for putting together an astounding amount of things in a relatively small amount of time. I know it might feel like forever, but these are gigantic changes. Like when we talk about land, this is not like a minor little tweak. This is a big freaking thing. And I'm so angry and jealous that you got to meet Ric Flair. Woo! You were on mute, so yours did not go through, but mine did. Would you like to do a woo, sir? No. Okay.
Come on, Weirdbeard.
Well, that's what we got. Thanks for chiming in. This is going to be one hell of a month coming up, and I don't know. I guess my last piece of advice is make sure you have enough cards. Make sure you have enough DEC. Go stake some SPS. It's going to take a little bit of time, but you're going to need your Rooney and you're going to need your titles, and all that stuff is coming up. So, if we didn't build the coolest freaking economy and time it nearly perfectly, I don't know who did, because this thing is freaking awesome and fun. And if you're not pumped, you're nuts. So there you go. Have fun, guys. Are you not entertained? And we'll be back with you a week from today at roughly the same time. And sturdy your loins.
You need a better sign off.
No. They couldn't even hear you, Weirdbeard. But no, I guess they can. Maybe they can. Okay, they could. All right. I just saw the mute button. Anyways, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.
When chaos reigns and hope is lost, when your darkest days aren't safe bring the light to help guide the way. We are with you. We are the Rift Watchers.